So I'm here at Porsche, and honestly, I'm not excited at all to preview a very unexciting car. It's electric. It's Taycan. I was just kidding. I'm actually really pumped to see this car. When Porsche announced that they're going to have like a wagon version of the Taycan, I was pretty excited because they're going to do the same treatment that they did with the Panamera, with the Sport Turismo. But then they came out with the Mission E Cross Turismo. So maybe it was going to be a crossover, weird crossover wagon thing. And that's exactly what they gave us. I was a bit pessimistic at first until I saw the car in pictures. And now you notice over here, the changes, the first thing that annoys me is this cladding over here. So it's a cross, so it has to have cladding, right? So cladding on the wheel arches, on the sides, you have this like, I don't know, bash plate over here, and more cladding at the rear, and then at the rear end itself. So a lot of cladding, but the real main story is the practicality. This is the kind of Taycan that you want to have if you want to take your bike out on the weekends, go a bit off-roading. This is the EV to get. There's no, besides like the Tesla Model X or whatever else, or maybe Jaguar I-Pace, that is an SUV. Model X, an SUV. This is a wagon that is an actual car, proper car, that's also an EV and practical. Okay, the real stuff is at the boot over here. So you have 530 liters of space versus, I think it's 366 liters in the Taycan Saloon. That is the main point over here. So with every Taycan, you also get air suspension, 3-chamber air suspension. I think I mentioned in my review of the Taycan that it was very, very good. Air suspension, but felt so just damn good. Anyway, this car has it too, but being a crossover, it's got 20 millimeters of extra travel because you can adjust the height. This goes up extra 20 millimeters. You can see right now, I'm not even sure what kind of setting it's on, but there's quite a bit of wheel gap over here, but you can lower it down and hunker it. It looks just great. I was pessimistic at first about the way this car looks and the fact it's a crossover, but it's really won me over. It's a great looking car. Let's go on the front for a while. So with the Taycan, this is all with all Taycans, by the way, not just the Cross Turismo, but all Taycans benefit from Porsche's stubbornness to have the engine at the back, because if you look at the 911 and all the cars with the rear engine, they don't have a grille. It's all a clean face. And now EVs, you also have a clean face, although some like BMW insist on having a grille, a fake grille. But this, look how clean the shape is. It starts from so low, goes up and rakes through the windscreen and then curves down over there. You can mistake this for a coupe body style, really. This is like a coupe body style that you'll find on the X6 or one of those fake coupe, four-door coupe things. It's really got that shape, even though it's a wagon. So with the Taycan, my instinct is to hunt for the button down here. It's not there. It's not here. It's actually over here, like the usual saloon Taycan. Open it up, and hey, look, it's a practical Porsche, but not an SUV. So a bigger boot. Now, look, it's an EV. You get a big boot anyway. The Taycan Saloon isn't actually a slouch when it comes to boot space. But over here, you get more boot space. And what I think is more important than that, you get a lot more headroom. So this is 530 liters, okay? Which is about 140 liters more-ish, give or take, than the Taycan Saloon. That's not that much, but it is appreciable. You do appreciate the extra storage space. And the fact that you can actually have this huge loading aperture, that's the bigger deal to me. The Taycan, because it's a more low-slung coupe saloon with a proper boot, actually jutting out from the rear end, the opening for the actual luggage or cargo is quite small. This is huge. So this is the rear seat of the Taycan, and very much is retaining that four-seater concept. So you go in here, you get sports seats. It might not be leather, but now, because the Taycan Cross Turismo, it's more rugged, you get this kind of fabric weave, which is very nice. You get leather some more, and some suede accents to like bolster you in your place. So this is the biggest upshot of having a wagon, which I think if you're going to buy an SUV of any kind, first take a look at wagons. I know there's not a lot in Malaysia, but it's worth looking for a good wagon because they provide you with 95% of the practicality with none of the embarrassment. So you have headspace over here. I can't remember exactly how much headspace I had when I drove the Taycan Saloon, but it was less than this. I think it was like a fist and maybe a little bit more, but I can fit 2 fists over here above my head. Pretty good. And also it's a lot more airy in here. Close the door. The windows don't actually like taper down too much. A lot of light in here. It's a comfortable place to sit. And it's gonna be comfortable because it's so silent, because it's an EV. So yeah, this is a very nice interior, and now a pretty practical one too. The front seats of the Taycan, it's very sporty. You sit low down, you're actually kind of raked, and you feel like you're actually in a sporty car. It's quite an experience. And the fact that you have so many screens ahead of you, 1, 2, 3, 4 screens, and they're huge screens. It's pretty damn impressive. And I was in the Taycan last year, that blew me away. It's still kind of blowing me away, but the things I've noticed between this and the Taycan, so between the Cross Turismo and the Taycan Saloon, I'm noticing this suede steering wheel. Again, you have this sort of like rugged mesh fabric. It reminds you of something that you would buy at one of those outdoor shops, but it feels premium, it feels nice. Okay, I want to explain how the Taycan Cross Turismo fits in the range. You have the Taycan Saloon and the Cross Turismo side by side, right? But in Malaysia, you can only get the Taycan Cross Turismo as an all-wheel drive. In fact, you can't get any Taycan Cross Turismo with rear-wheel drive only. That's only for the Taycan Saloon. Because it's a crossover and because it's supposed to be, more rugged and more outdoorsy, only dual motor all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive for the Taycan Cross Turismo. And also, in Malaysia at least, you cannot get it with the smaller battery option. You can only get it with Performance Battery Plus, which is 93.4 kilowatts, okay? Because if you were to get the standard Taycan, the base model Taycan, that will come in at 585,000 ringgit. That's the starting price for the Taycan range and the Taycan Saloon. But with the Cross Turismo, because you're getting the bigger battery and all-wheel drive is standard and you get more space, you'll be paying 645,000 ringgit for the base Taycan Cross Turismo, which is called the Taycan Cross Turismo 4. The Taycan 4 Cross Turismo. And because you don't get the rear-wheel drive option with the Cross Turismo, you also don't get the Turbo S with the Cross Turismo. So if you look at all the specs and you kind of compare and contrast, right, between the Taycan Saloon and Cross Turismo in Malaysia, you can get the cheapest Taycan with the rear-wheel drive motor and the smaller battery in the Saloon. You can't get that with the Cross Turismo. And you cannot get the Turbo S, the fastest 2.8 second acceleration to 100 powertrain with the Cross Turismo. It only ends with the Turbo, the non-S version. But it's still pretty fast. And the thing is, this thing can accelerate from 0 to 100 in I think 3.3 seconds in the Turbo and 5.1 seconds in the Taycan 4 Cross Turismo, which is the lowest rung version of the Cross Turismo you can buy. I'm not good with remembering numbers and specs, so if you really want specs, you can either watch my Taycan review of the 4S, or you can go on the website, or there's a lot of other specs available online. But basically, if you're gonna get the Taycan 4 Cross Turismo, the lowest rung version of the Taycan Cross Turismo, it comes with 476 PS, okay? All-wheel drive, of course, and a range, an NEDC range of 437 kilometers. And what's interesting about that is that if you step up to the more powerful 4S or the Turbo, that range doesn't really go down. Usually you expect the car which has more power to decrease in range, like everything else, especially when they have the same battery. But the Cross Turismo 4S has 571 PS and still manages 436 kilometers. That's only 1 kilometer less official range than the base. And then the most powerful Taycan Cross Turismo, the Turbo, gets 680 PS and can do 425 kilometers on a single charge. So that's what, 10 kilometers less than that? So they're all they can take you to Penang if you want, or JB. So basically the Cross Turismo is a car that I shouldn't like because it's a crossover. It's a Porsche which I love, but I don't like the fact that they tried to make it into a crossover. But they've executed this so well, and it looks so good, and drives so well because I know it does, that I can't really fault it that much. It's a great looking car, it's a great driving car, it's more practical, it can go off-road, you can bring your bikes, you can live the active lifestyle if you want to. But it's a proper Porsche. And it's pretty awesome.